Good morning, fantastic employees. It is Wednesday morning, July 22nd. This is your friend Rick Olson, the stay-at-home motivational speaker. Today, I want to revisit the prayer of serenity. It goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Specifically want to talk about that opening line, the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Today I want to talk to you about the power to let things go. There are things that I can't control. There are things that you can't control. We need to let those things go. Let's make a list of things that we can't control. I cannot control whether or not other people follow the rules of social distancing. I cannot predict what will happen in upcoming days. I do not know how long this will all last, nor do you. We're not sure if our kids are going back to school this fall. We're not sure when we can go back to the nursing home to visit those elderly relatives. We just don't know how long this will all last. We can't control how other people react. We can't control other people's motives. And any attempt to try to control those things is going to be extremely frustrating for you and for me. We make ourselves stressed by the choices that we make, by the things that we fixate on. Disney had some great advice for us. In 2013, they came out with a movie. One little phrase was a powerful phrase. It relates to the prayer of serenity, and it was, let it go. Now that might frustrate you or bring back some memories for you. Maybe your kids sang that song right into the ground, but it really was great advice. So let's talk about the theme, let it go. What does that look like? What does that look like for a business? What does that look like in our corporate world? I'm going to give you a great example. In the 90s, I was asked to work with a hospital. Stress was high at that hospital. Their beds were empty, stress was high. And I discovered a group of people who really focused on all sorts of things that they couldn't control. It didn't help them at all. It just brought them to a very low point. We had a retreat. During that retreat, it was one of the most profound things I've ever seen happen in a retreat. But as a group, they just decided they would let all that stuff go and focus all their energy on things they could do. And they went back, and that's exactly what they did. It was one of the most remarkable turnarounds I've ever seen by any business. 2 years later, they got a letter that informed them they'd just been named one of the top 100 hospitals in America. It's powerful when we let it go. So let's talk about things that maybe we can control. We've talked about all the things we can't, but here's some things that you and I can control. We can control our social distancing. We can make great choices there. I'm doing it. I'm sure you are, but that's something we can control. We can control our daily attitude. I love what Charles Swindoll said, life is 10% what happens to me, 90% how I react to it. That's always something that I can control. I can control the social media and the news that comes into my life. I choose to bring in some. I also choose to limit that a great deal. I can choose to find some fun things to do at home. And so can you. I can choose to create meaningful things during this time, and I encourage you to do as well. Let me tell you about some of the meaningful things I'm working on. I've been working on 2 books since the March shutdown began. I'm very excited about both of them. Since March, I've created a virtual speaker school. We just graduated our first class. It's been fantastic. I can't believe some of the great things that these up-and-coming speakers are already doing. I'm redoing my website. It needed a facelift. I'm redoing my entire website. Lastly, I created a new training program for next year that I'm very excited about. I do a program called the Coaching College. I've done it for years, but I have a brand new program we're coming out with next year. It's coaching after COVID-19. It's going to be great. That's what I'm working on. This is a great time for you to be working on very meaningful things. Last thing I would say, it's something I've hit before. You can control the kindness and grace that you show toward others. As we've talked about in the past, be kind. Everyone is carrying a heavy load. There are many things to let go. There are a few important things to embrace. Embrace the right things. Have a great week.